Let's talk about the fighter mentality. I'm going to start with a story. By the way, if you want the system that we're covering in this video as a free checklist, grab the link in the description. You can have a PDF of everything we talked about. This is the moment that I knew I was going to be an entrepreneur. Okay, I was a junior salesperson. I was called in to my boss's office to set goals for the next quarter, which means the next 3 months in business terms. And one of my goals was to hire an intern. On the goal sheet, I just said, hey, maybe in the next 3 months, I could be managing somebody. And my boss at that time said, oh, wait, Alex. No. Maybe in like a couple of years, you might have somebody under your team, but you need to wait your turn. You're not ready to manage. It was on that day I decided that I actually needed to grow a business, and I saw myself not working at all in that career field from that moment. So I wanted to talk about the fighter mentality, because this is something that I've seen with a lot of entrepreneurs, myself included, and we're not gonna take bullshit from anyone. You tell me I'm not ready for interns? Within 6 months, I had a 12-person team. I obviously was ready for interns. That guy was projecting something on me. And this is what happens with a lot of feedback that you get from others, especially people that aren't entrepreneurs. They will give you feedback that comes from a place of fear, or really it comes from a place of their own limits. When he was my age, for sure, when my boss was my age, maybe he couldn't have run a team. That doesn't mean that I can't, but it also isn't fair for him to know that. The only way for me to prove it to him and really to myself that I was ready to run this team was to do it, was to fight, go out there, hire people. I ended up getting into a bunch of debt, which luckily all that's paid off now. Luckily, the fighter mentality has crushed my debt like the worthless numbers they are. That's really it. Something that drives me a lot is doubt. I had another business partner recently tell me that I don't work hard enough. He actually quit because he said I didn't put in the work. As soon as he quit, the business became more successful than ever because I was fueled by the fact that he said I didn't work hard enough. And guess what? I worked my ass off. The fighter mentality. That is what I want you to adopt. Or really what I've seen in a lot of entrepreneurs. You go out there and you fight to prove people wrong. I don't know why people doubt others. I try not to. If I were you, I would try not to doubt others also. I know it's so easy when somebody tells you an idea to hate on it or give your feedback, which kills the dream a lot of the time. What I've found, especially when it comes to managing employees, is in order to avoid kicking this fighter mentality in and getting them to quit the company is, if you want your employees to stick with you, you want your team members to stick with you, you have to encourage the fighter mentality without telling them they suck. And the way that I've found to encourage this fighter mentality in your team, and really in myself as well, it is have a very specific targeted goal and then have very little in terms of step-by-step instructions around that goal. Let me give you an example here, a real example from our business. David Sharma is the guy who runs our marketing. He runs the SEO for the YouTube channel. He makes sure everything's fine. And recently, what me and Div talked about was boiling all of his job down into 2 specific goals. Now he's focused on 2 things. One is organic email signups, and he's tracking that every single day against his high score. And number 2 is the open rate that our emails get to our inbound list. So we boiled his entire job down to those 2 goals. And the way we found those goals was by looking at what would move the business the most. Our current theory is if more people open our emails after signing up for the list and more people sign up for the list, we're going to increase sales. And if we can double both those numbers, we'll double sales. I'm sure there's diminishing returns, but we'll find out. And that's the main thing. That's how I encourage the fighter mentality in our team. The numbers have started increasing, by the way, already. All it is boiling it down to what those measures are. And I honestly think if my boss back then had done the same for me, and if he had set better goals, am I saying I would still be at the company to this day? No, 0% chance, right? And if I was still at the company to this day and I was recording a video like this, I would quit. Because come on, we're entrepreneurs and we are all fighters. Talk about fighter mentality. Being stuck in a day job should be terrifying to you and it should be painful to you. But I think if he set those goals a little better, I would have worked there a little longer. I might have achieved more, at least achieved more in spite of him. Because at that same job, I destroyed the sales goals, right? I beat his sales goal, I beat the founders, and I beat everyone else on the sales team. So he did encourage the fighter mentality. And if this was some kind of Mr. Miyagi style hardcore troll that got me to succeed, then that's that. But I do not think it was that. So on the fighter mentality, if you're an entrepreneur, You got to fight. And you can't let anyone telling you that you can't do something stop you. In fact, it needs to fuel you. It needs to be the thing that pushes you to actually succeed. The fighter mentality is huge. You're a fighter. You're like Mike Tyson in the ring, all right? I don't know too much boxing, but I do know the power of a Mike Tyson punch. If you're in the ring with Mike Tyson, he is going to kick your ass every time. He's going to slam you in the face. You're going to fall to the ground because he's a fighter. If you are an employee and you go head to head with a real entrepreneur, the same thing's going to happen. You're going to get Mike Tyson. This fighter is going to destroy you. And if you are that entrepreneur, you need to be fighting. That's it. Don't let anyone tell you you can't do it. And at the same time, take an honest look at your actual skills. And if it's true you can't do something, either learn how to do it or quit and change the goal. That self-awareness thing is so huge. You'll notice I don't talk too much about some of my other businesses. Albert Halsey I shut down because I only wanted to focus on movies and this kind of business consulting. That's it. So I was fighting and I was making progress and I was breaking through with Albert Halsey. And that was a business that also shouldn't have existed because I knew nothing about design. I took it from zero to actually selling. We were in negotiation with a few of the casinos here, a few of the largest retail companies, and that's just all fighter mentality. You can use the fighter mentality to succeed where you don't even have any skills. I went from no design skills to learning how to design stuff to actually selling products in like 6 months, and I didn't even want to do it. If you're running a cold email marketing campaign and you're getting under 80% as your open rate, grab this free document. This is 50 subject lines to test. I've sent over 2 million cold emails. We've generated over $100 million in leads. Click the link below. You can have all these subject lines. So that's that. Keep fighting. You got this. And I will talk to you later. All right, I'm Alex Berman.